What's up, you guys? My name is Evan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video I want to talk about my 5-MeO DMT experiences. 5-MeO DMT is a molecule that's found in the venom of the Sonoran desert toad. It's also manufactured synthetically. 5-MeO DMT is also known as the God molecule. It's also known as the toad. It's also known as Bufo. So my first experiences with this molecule, with this medicine, came about a year and a half ago now. I was in the Sacred Valley of Peru, which is where I currently am now. I came to the Sacred Valley of Peru in March of 2020 to find healing because I was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression, and so I turned toward plant medicine to help me work through these things, specifically ayahuasca, psilocybin mushrooms, San Pedro, and 5-MeO DMT. The first 5-MeO DMT experience that I ever had was facilitated to me by this old Lakota elder. He was a Lakota chieftain from Montana. I had heard through the grapevine that this man was staying close to where I was at the time, to where I was staying. And so we sent him a message and we said, hey, would you be willing to come to our place and serve this medicine to us? And so he did. He said that he was willing to come. It took him a few weeks, but he finally showed up. And so when he came to our place, and he basically just came and sat down in the grass. We had this nice, really big open area outside. It was a really super beautiful day outside. He basically just sat down and chatted with us for a few minutes. And he said, okay, so who's smoking Bufo today? And I raised my hand and I said, I am. And my friend Katie, who was there also, said that she was going to smoke Bufo as well. Katie had smoked Bufo probably 5 or 6 times before, but I had not. This was my first time ever sitting with this medicine. So I was extremely nervous. I was very nervous, very anxious. And he basically just kind of gave me a little rundown. He pulled out this little glass pipe and was starting to put some medicine in it. He put in a little bit of medicine that was probably about the size of my pinky nail, which that's really all you need for 2 people. So yeah, he was packing this medicine into the pipe, and he asked me if I had ever smoked a bong before. And so I said yes, and he said, okay, well, that's the way that you need to smoke this medicine. You basically inhale until all the smoke is cleared, or until I tell you to stop, whichever comes first. And so he basically just filled the pipe up, got the torch. He smoked this medicine with like a butane torch, started to heat up the bowl, and then basically just put the pipe up to my mouth, and I started to inhale the 5-MeO DMT. And so I had experience with breathwork before. I'm experienced like with the Wim Hof method, so I'm pretty good at expanding my lung capacity to its fullest extent. So I just kind of started breathing into my diaphragm, filling up like my stomach, and then my chest, and then my throat, and that was it. And then after you breathe in, you hold the medicine, and I breathed in the medicine for probably about 10 seconds, which this really was a lot of medicine for a first time experience, because I had never done this medicine before. So this was the first time I had ever experienced this. And so the very first thing that I started to experience was I heard frequencies start in my ears, and it started low at first, and then it gradually started to gain in pitch, and it gained in pitch very, very rapidly, to the point where it was deafening. All I could hear in my ears was this very high-pitched ringing, just this eeet. Second thing that I experienced was I started to see patterns in my visuals. I started to see all these like little crystalline, like jewel-like structures start to appear in flashes in my vision. Third thing I started to experience, and I'm saying this in a sequential order, but it really was all happening simultaneously. The come up on this medicine is very quick. It passes the blood-brain barrier almost instantaneously. There is no come up. When you drink ayahuasca, you're probably waiting for half an hour to an hour before you start to feel the effects of the medicine. And this was 5 seconds of having this this medicine in my lungs before I started to really feel the effects of it. And so the next thing that I experienced was a white piercing light starting to emanate from my chakras. I don't know if you guys know about the chakras, if you think that it's just a bunch of hippie woo-woo bullshit, but to me, this is what I experienced during this 5-MeO DMT experience. What I saw was this white light starting to pierce through each one of my chakras, emanating from my chakras. It was as if my chakras just were like, had so much energy that they were just vibrating super high. Piercing white light started from the root chakra, worked its way up into the third eye chakra, at which point there was like just piercing white light and I could not sit upright anymore. From the time that I had stopped inhaling the medicine to the time where I could no longer sit upright was probably only 5 or 10 seconds. After this, I collapsed backwards into the grass, at which point this is where shit got really intense, guys, okay? There was like almost like a complete boundary dissolution of my sense of self. I was immediately just kind of catapulted into a unified field of energy. There was just these massive bands of energy that were just rocking my body and my consciousness. I felt like there was electricity, a high voltage of electricity coursing through my nervous system. It felt like I had just like grabbed onto a cattle prod. It was power coursing through my whole nervous system. It felt like the gravity of the earth had increased 2 or 3-fold. So it felt like I was being pushed downwards into the grass, into the surface of the planet. And yes, it was just complete boundary dissolution, complete just unified field of energy, unified field of consciousness. Extremely intense. The medicine man, the Lakota chieftain that served me the medicine, started to sing a medicine song over me. He had his peyote rattle, and he started to sing this Lakota medicine song, "Hey, you wanna, you know yo. Hey, you wanna, you know yo," singing this medicine song over me. But I was like, he was sitting right next to me, like he was literally right here, and yet for some reason it felt like this man was like 100 meters away from me. It felt like he was singing to me through, like it felt like I was submerged in the ocean and somebody was on the surface of the ocean singing to me, and I could hear the sounds only through the membrane of the water. It was like as if there was some kind of a fluid that was distorting his voice, and I could not hear him clearly. I knew he was there. I could sense his presence. I could hear his voice, but for whatever reason, it sounded like it was distorted, and it felt like I was hearing him through water or through some kind of a fluid. Very, very strange experience. And so I have no idea really how long this experience lasted. There was a group of people that were sitting around me, probably 7 or 8 people, that told me that the experience lasted anywhere from probably 20 to 30 minutes. But for me, guys, it felt like it was a fucking eternity. I felt like I was just being rocked by just these immense, these energy fields that were just moving through my body. There was almost no thoughts going through my mind. I remember the first thought that I thought was, my God, everything is perfect. Everything is just fucking perfect. And I also felt there was pain. I had pain here, like in my solar plexus, right underneath like my sternum. I was experiencing pain there. It was like somebody was like stabbing me with a knife there right in my solar plexus, and it really hurt bad, but I was just surrendering into the experience, because that's really all you can do, is just completely surrender to this experience. And so I eventually come down. I come down out of the experience. I come back to a normal, kind of a normal state. I sit up in the grass. I'm able to sit up once again. And the Lakota elder asked me how it was. I told him it was great and I loved it. And I said that I wanted to do it again. And so he said, okay, if you want to do it again, we could do it again. So he puts more medicine in the pipe, and everybody that was there with me, nobody objected to this. Everybody was just kind of, they allowed it to happen. There were people there that were experienced with Bufo, with 5-MeO DMT. There was an ayahuasca shaman present, one of my good friends, and other people that were experienced with this medicine. So it wasn't like I was in a totally unsupervised setting. There were people there that probably would have interjected if they had felt that I was in danger. But I smoked the second hit of this medicine. Also, again, very powerful, very profound experience, very, very similar to the first experience. Deafening frequency in my ears, light pouring, emanating out through the chakras, electricity coursing through my body, feeling like I was being pushed into the earth, and then just total, complete, non-linear energy fields rocking my body. And I was not still during this. Like, my body was just like moving however it wanted to move. I was just allowing everything to happen, allowing everything to flow through me. And so I come back down again. I come back down into a normal state of consciousness. Everything fairly normal. And the medicine man that served me the medicine was smoking cannabis, because he was a daily cannabis smoker. And so he asked me if I wanted to smoke cannabis. And I said yes to that, which in retrospect was not a good idea, because that set off a chain reaction of just like uncontrollable thought. I felt like my mind was just out of control, racing thoughts. But I just, continued to surrender into the experience, continued to let go. And we go down to the house, the group of people that I was with, we go down, there was a house, we go down, sit around the dinner table, have a soup. And that was pretty much the night. I sat there at the dinner table eating my soup. My mind still felt like it was very out of control. But I went back to my room that night, laid down, went to sleep, woke up the next morning. And part of what I wanted to include in this video was the experience itself was very beautiful. But the after effect of the medicine, guys, the shockwave that this sent out through my life was very difficult to deal with, because then in the days afterward, I was very psychologically imbalanced and unstable, emotionally unbalanced and unstable. Energetically, my energy system was just going through changes, and it was very, very difficult to deal with. Luckily, I was at a point in time in my life, this was during quarantine, so I was in lockdown. I didn't really have any responsibilities at the time other than to take care of myself. And thankfully, I was at a period of time in my life where I was able to go through this kind of a process, because if I was in my normal day-to-day life and I was working a job or in trying to live a full schedule existence, then I probably would have had a very difficult time trying to balance myself in the wake of this experience, because it was just so powerful and profound. I was very unbalanced afterward, and in retrospect, if I had to go through that again, I probably would have worked my way up. I would have started with a much smaller dose of 5-MeO and continued to scale upward from there, rather than go with the full breakthrough fucking dose right from the beginning, because what I had was really, it was a full breakthrough dose. And it was very difficult for me to deal with at the time. Thankfully now, I've had probably about 15 5-MeO DMT experiences. Nothing as profound as the first one, but still I've had some pretty significant experiences with this medicine. And so I just kind of wanted to make this video. Hopefully it will help somebody. Hopefully somebody finds some value from this. Also, just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a warning, allow people to, be aware of how truly powerful and profound this molecule is, and it can truly take you for a ride if you choose to smoke it. And so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like content like this. I'm going to be coming out with another video about 5-MeO DMT, the lessons that this molecule has taught me, and more videos like this to come. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.